What is up, guys? Fado82 coming at you with a Let's Play video for Savage Lands. Wanted to talk quickly about how to survive your first day in Savage Lands, what the best practices are. I was fortunate on my first day to have come across a very wise sage and a very experienced player, a gentleman who had been playing the game since pre-alpha, and he taught me quite a lot about the game, and I did a 7-part Let's Play series that you can go ahead and take a look at, which is really just a stream of consciousness Let's Play series, but there's a lot of good tips in there. But I wanted to sort of distill his wisdom that he gave to me in a brief video for you guys. So when you start the game, guys, you're going to spawn on a beach similar to this one. You may spawn in a different location, so mileage will vary a little bit with the direction of things. We're spawned here by this overturned boat. I know this part of the map fairly well, but there are some items here on the beach you can pick up. You'll see them glistening. There's flint, there's pieces of wood, there's stone. We can see one down here. And go ahead and feel free to pick them up. They are helpful. They are good to have, but don't spend too much time down here. There were some Let's Play videos and tutorials that talked about building fires down here on the beach and sort of living down here for your first, first day in the game, and that's not good advice, actually, as I learned from this, like I said, wise sage who I came across. So what you want to do, guys, is start moving inland as quickly as you can, and you're going to get to an abandoned town, and that's where you're going to want to really set up your base camp. Not down on the beach. That's not going to help you. In fact, it's going to make it more difficult to survive down there. So when you're running through the landscape, try to go in towards like the center of the map. You may have spawned in a different area. Your mileage is going to vary a little bit, but generally what's going to happen is you're going to come up and you're going to find an area here where you may see a big statue, and that statue is going to look like a tower, and it has a dragon that's perched atop it that's sitting there, and that dragon is going to not be aggressive, so don't be afraid when you see it. It will not attack you on sight. It may have a function later on in the game, but at this point it does not. When you're moving through the landscape here, guys, you're going to want to be very aware of your surroundings. It's very dense here, and you want to just be aware of what's going on because you're going to be encountering skeletons and wolves in this part of the map, and they can kill you quickly. The hatchet that you start with is effective against them, so you can fight them. As always, it's best if you're playing with friends. That's going to be the way to do it. So I'm looking for any sign of the town. As you can see, I don't see the large tower that I was speaking of, but I know that the town is generally in this direction, so I'm going to keep running in this direction. The first thing that we're going to need to do when we get to the town, guys, is we're going to need to craft a Pike of Resurrection. Now, with the Pike of Resurrection, what that is essentially a spawn point. So if we die, we're going to be able to spawn back at that location, wherever we place the Pike, rather than at a random location like the beach that we were just on. You may have seen that deer just run by there. That's a great source of food. You're going to want to always be aware of obtaining food in this game. So we have a wolf coming up on us now. Kind of like circle strafe around him is the best fighting method for the wolf, and we'll go ahead and knock him down in a moment. Make sure you loot the meat off of him. The meat is very important. It is a survival game in the purest sense, and if you notice, you have cloth shards here, or pieces, and hit K to pull up your crafting menu, and we're going to craft those into basic bandages. Okay, we're going to want to go ahead and equip those because we're bleeding. We're at 58% health right now, and we're going to go ahead and apply the bandages to stop the bleeding. To eat, we're going to quickly eat some of this cooked meat that you start with to regain the health that we lost. You always want to be aware, guys, of what's going on because, the health, the cold meter, there's that tower that I was speaking of. We're going to be heading towards that in a moment, but I want to kill the skeleton here because we need his skull to craft that Pike of Resurrection. So we're going to go ahead and knock him down. Skeletons, guys, the best method for fighting them is like kind of moving in and out, back and forth. Take everything you can get off him. You get those pieces of cloth off of the skeletons, and you'll need those to make more bandages. Bandages are very important. So just to talk a little bit about the meters on top, the one that is red is, of course, your health. The one that is yellow is your stamina, and the one that is blue is your temperature. And your temperature is going to drop when you're in the water, so don't go in the water. It's very cold, and it will also drop quite a bit at night. The temperature will affect your health, it will affect your well-being, and this game is all about surviving the elements. So guys, what we're going to do now is we're moving towards this tower here, which is, again, a landscape. If you come across it, know that there's going to be something good around this. So in this part of the map, there's a starting village, and in that starting village, we are going to be able to forge. I have 2 skeletons here. I don't want to fight 2 skeletons, so I'm actually going to keep running. It's a little bit hard to manage 2 at the same time, but I better heal up anyways, because if they do come at me, we'll be in for a little fight on our hands. So the tower, we're kind of moving to the right of it, and the town, we should hit the town any moment now. Yep, I can see it in the distance here. We have a wolf coming up on us. I'm hoping the skeletons stop following us, because 2 skeletons and a wolf at the same time will be difficult to manage. So we got the wolf. We're going to take the meat. We're going to take this item here that looks like a rope. It's called sinew, and it's very important for crafting purposes. You want to make a bag as soon as possible, and that's a very valuable commodity because it's going to allow you extra inventory space. This world here, guys, is one that I've already started to build in with my friends. So it is. There are some things in here that you wouldn't typically see in the town. You'll notice some trees here have been harvested. And just to talk a little bit about harvesting a tree, because you're going to need to do that quite a bit, you just go up to it with your axe and you hit the tree and you'll be able to knock it down. You'll start to see it break apart. It will fall. Really nice physics. And then hit it a few more times, it breaks into its individual logs. I got a little bit of tongue-tied there, but sometimes that happens. So over here, you will notice there's a shack here filled with items, and very overwhelming when you first look at it. Don't be overwhelmed by it. Simply hit the I button, and you'll see there's a category over here called Vicinity, and Vicinity will allow you to pick up items that you need. So we need to craft that Pike of Resurrection. It's very important for me to have to spawn back at, and I need 2 skull. I believe it's. Before I even talk about that, let's hit the K button. I'm sorry, the J button, which is a journal, similar to what you'd see in the forest. It tells you all of the crafting recipes here. So the Pike of Resurrection, it's 3 human skulls, 1 wood log, and the skulls again we get from the skeletons. So we need 3 skulls and 1 log, which is what we have here. We're going to go ahead then and hit the K button. I'm sorry. We're going to hit the J button again, which is to craft. We're going to select that Pike of Resurrection. We'll see we have a ghost image of it here. There are some pikes around here that my friends placed, and we'll go ahead and place one for this character here. I generally like to place them in around a building, so we'll just go ahead and put it right there. Hit E to place it, and then it tells you the items you need to apply to it, very much like the forest. So hit E, puts the stick down, 1, 2, 3 for the skulls. We've now created our Pike of Resurrection. It's going to light up blue in a moment, and we can now respawn back here. So if we die, no big deal. We've spawned back into this starter village. Now, this starter village, guys, why you want to do your base camp here is many reasons. It's a good central point. It's easy to find your way back here. But another thing is in these buildings, items spawn. So if we run in here, there's a log that spawned in here. There's a Warren stone axe. So you can find pieces of armor in here. There's sometimes some food in here. And it's really a great place to scavenge for. You can see the dragon up there, guys. Kind of cool. Reminds me a lot of Skyrim. This is sort of Rust meets Skyrim, this game. So the next thing, guys, you've created your Pike of Resurrection. The next things you want to focus on are hunting. So we have a couple deer over here. We'll run up to one of them. They do run. They're going to be modifying them in the next patch. I think they're going to slow them down a little bit. They're not as absurd as they are in Rust right now. But if you go ahead and hit them, I think it's usually 4 strikes with the with the hatchet, you can take one down, and then you'll harvest it like we harvested the wolf. And then the other thing you guys are going to want to do is go ahead and start chopping wood. You want to build campfires. It takes about 2 campfires to get through a night cycle. The nights are harsh in this game. You need the fire to stay warm, to keep your temperature up. So we're gonna want to go ahead and craft a campfire. Again, we're gonna hit the J button here, and we're gonna go ahead and select the fire. E for the ghost image down here, and we'll apply the items we have. If you notice, it says we need 2 more stones. And stones, guys, you can find laying on the ground, or if not, what you can do is, we'll see if we have one in here in our big sort of loot shed. You can get a crude hammer. I don't have one here, but the crude hammer, what it's going to give you, let me show you, though. Right over here I do have some bags. Let's go ahead and equip this bag. It might have something in it, and it did have a hammer in it. Beautiful. The crude hammer is going to give us the ability to find a rock and to mine that rock for ore. If you notice over here, guys, there is, where the skeleton's dancing here, there's a ghost image of a particular type of a house. Just like in the forest, it'll do the ghost image, and then as you apply the individual items like we did for the campfire or the Pike of Resurrection, it will go ahead and build that structure slowly, so you'll see it progressing. We could apply what we have right now to it, which was just 1 log, and then you'll be able to build it and live in it, and it will provide you some protection from the elements. I want to show you really quickly just how to mine ore in the game. That's another important thing to be aware of. We have to find a node. I think I see one up here. Let me actually heal up just a little bit. I don't have any substantial food on me, but I do have these tree nuts here which I can eat. Love me them tasty nuts, right? So we'll go ahead and eat those. And we have a node up here, a rock. All of them are a little bit different. I haven't figured out exactly the best way to go about utilizing them. But once you have your crude hammer picked up, you're going to go ahead and you're going to start hitting it. Nothing happens at first, but as you hit it more, you'll notice things will drop out of it. And your hammer is taking damage as you're doing this. So we got a stone there. And this is great because when you start making campfires and they start burning out, you're going to say, well, the wood's easy to come by, but where's all the stone? And if you're just looking for it on the floor, it's not going to be, on the ground rather, it's not going to be the best way to do it. So you need to kind of craft some crude hammers and go about getting stone out of this rock appears to be primarily stone, but pieces of low quality ore will fall out of it as well. There is a medium quality ore, which if that falls, you can use to craft other weapons. I want to keep this particular tutorial really brief, and I want to just run back to the town and just show you one other thing which is important to make note of. So guys, again, the first things you're going to want to do, get your ass to the town, okay? Craft a Pike of Resurrection, chop down some trees, make a campfire, and then focus on getting some meat because you're going to need to cook meat on the campfire. Want to show you how to do that because it's a little bit tricky if you don't know how. So we've now crafted the campfire here. Apparently we didn't have enough stones. Let's see if we left any in the building over here. You might be seeing things here that look like stones, but they're actually pieces of flint, and they're not going to do it. So I have that fur-lined backpack there as well. Backpacks are important in the game because, guys, you want to be able to carry the stuff that you have with you. As much as you can carry is really important. So with the particular campfire here, we need a few more stones. And we'll run back out and we'll hit that node a little bit more. So sorry that the video is becoming a little bit longer than I wanted it to, but that's okay. We'll go with it. So the other reason why you want to go to this town is a lot of things spawn around it. So the skeletons spawn around it, the meat spawns around it. You're going to really want to harvest these deer. They kind of run quickly, but you'll be able to get them, especially if you have some buddies with you. Again, hit up the node. Always be aware of what's falling around you. So we'll get a couple more stones. And the other reason, guys, for going to the town is it has a forge that you can use. So you don't have to craft your own forge. You're not going to be able to do that anytime soon in the game. You can sort of not cheat, but use what's already in the town and use their forge to craft items that you can't craft without the use of a forge. So like higher end items such as weaponry and armor is going to be required by that forge. So we're going to run back over to the town here, and I'm going to finish that fire. I'm going to show you how to cook some food. I'm going to show you the forge, and then I'm going to end this video. But I hope that it's giving you a sense of what it takes to survive in this landscape. It's very fun. It's very unforgiving, though. It's very focused on survival, more so than I thought it would be. But I don't particularly mind that. That's kind of my type of game. So I'm trying to remember where exactly I placed the fire. And I don't see it. And that's my mistake. I thought I put it behind the building here. Maybe it was over here. Yes, it's right here. Okay, we can still see part of the ghost image there, indicating we need some more things. So we now have fire. We'll see that our temperature meter is rising. Wonderful thing. So we're gonna hit K to use this. It's called a forge, but it's not the same as another forge. But when you're in here, guys, and you want to cook meat, for me, at first it was confusing for me because I was trying to drag things over here and they kept falling to the ground like that. That's not what you want to do. Just go ahead and click over here to this particular apple, which is a food icon, and it's going to tell you what you have that you can cook. So instead of eating raw meat, which you don't want to do, just click on that, craft, and instantly it's going to craft for you the cooked meat, which is what you need. The other thing is the forge in the game, in the town over here, is on the side of this building right here. And this is what you can utilize to forge items. So for instance, you'll see that there are items here, for instance, stone axe, the armor in particular, requires that you have the forge and then the pieces of the particular elements in there, and you'll be able to go ahead and use them. So guys, that's again the most important aspects of the game. That's how you want to survive day one. If you notice, we haven't gone through a full day cycle and we're pretty well ahead. We've crafted our Pike of Resurrection, the number one most important thing to do. Number two is get a campfire going and start harvesting meat so you can survive your first night. And then the sky is really the limit. Don't bother, guys, with focusing on the lean-to structure, which you'll see over here. It's useless at this point. If anything, start with building a wooden shack. You don't need to build a wooden shack in the town, though. The town has enough buildings for you to live in. The wooden shack and these other items here are going to be places that you want to craft in areas that are farther out, that you want to, say, mine from or farm monsters at, and then have another base of operation. So don't craft buildings inside the town. It's pretty much not useful. So the one over here was just an experiment, but there's enough buildings to live in here. So again, guys, get to the town, craft a Pike of Resurrection, campfire, then you'll be able to survive your first night. Jay pulls up the crafting book, which are the recipes that you need. Those are the diagrams for the building structures. If you want to craft particular items, you hit the K button and it allows you to craft the recipes. You don't have to learn the recipes. These are already here, and when you have the items necessary, they will light up blue. So that's it, guys. That's all that I have. I'll be bringing more Let's Play videos for Savage Lands as I progress further into the game and learn more about it. But right now, these are the best tips that I learned from a very experienced player, and I hope it's really helpful. If you guys liked the video, please sub to the channel. Like it if you could. If not, that's cool too. Thank you for watching. This is Fado82. Peace.